If a Rocky or Creed film doesn't have you wanting to better yourself physically, then it hasn't done its job. Thankfully, when the Creed 2 credits rolled, I was already sprinting to my car, ready to hit the gym. There's just something about Rocky movies that pump me up, make me want to be a better person. And 8 movies into this ongoing franchise, Creed 2 still delivers that feeling. Now, I was going into Creed 2 really excited to see Dolph Lundgren again, see Ivan Drago back in the ring. Well, I mean, his son's in the ring, but he's going to be by his side, coaching him along. So you get that Stallone versus Dolph Lundgren scenario, and you get Michael B. Jordan versus this new dude. I'm not sure if I'd say Creed 2 is better than the first. I'd have to watch Creed 1 again. My first initial thought is it's the same. It's on the same level as it. I think that Creed 1 really nailed some things down that the sequel didn't. And that's mainly the Stallone portion of the film, which, to be honest, I didn't think Creed 2 was going to have much Sly. I'd say it's almost equal to the Michael B. Jordan stuff, who, by the way, absolutely owns this film. This is a Michael B. Jordan movie through and through. You could say the first one was as well, but I really think Stallone just absolutely nailed it. There's a whole story just on his face alone. He doesn't even necessarily have to act. He just has to show up in the room, and you're like, yeah, this guy used to box a lot. He's got some stories. You know, maybe it's the old school Rocky fan in me, but I just kept wanting Stallone to be Mickey. I wanted him to yell. I wanted him to be more passionate than he ever is in this film. Tessa Thompson, Felicia Rashad, both there, adding supporting actress roles. And I have to say, it's really nice seeing Felicia Rashad again. She didn't get much to do in the last movie. Here she has more screen time, and I'm just a fan of Claire Huxtable. I think she's great. I wish I saw Felicia Rashad more in films. As for Dolph Lundgren, he gives a very understated performance. He's not overdoing anything. You know, part of me wants that kind of campiness of Rocky IV to spill into this, but Creed 2 is very much what Rocky IV would be if it was made today. It's a lot more serious. They still have some of those same beats from that film, but they do it in a much more subtle way. And as I stated before, we're 8 movies in, yet the playbook stays almost exactly the same every time. You know what you're getting here, and it always works, or almost always. I didn't forget you, Tommy Gunn. And I definitely can state I have a bias when it comes to Rocky. I have nostalgia. I have an emotional connection to these films. I watched them religiously with my father back in the day. He passed away years ago when I was in high school, a car accident, and I couldn't help but kind of well up towards the end because this movie is very much a reflection of the past. We look back on Apollo Creed, we look back on the choices Rocky made, and it's just history repeating itself and hitting me hard because I look over and I want to see my dad there and he's not. You know, he didn't get to see my wife. He didn't get to meet my 2 children. And you get a lot of that in this film too, with Michael B. Jordan talking to his father that didn't get to see his wife and the family he's making. So it hit me probably a little harder than it hits a lot of the audience goers. That said, most people can relate to an underdog story, and that's what these films do so well every single time. I believe we have a new director this time, Stephen Cable Jr. This thing's beautifully shot. I think it's shot better than the last, honestly, which was very well done. It just really appreciates its own heritage and it respects it. And a lot of times when you have these sequels done so many years later, or they're remakes or reboots or whatever, they just kind of, they do these kind of almost douchey reflection things. Like, oh, remember how stupid this was back in the day? You know, they kind of laugh at themselves. This doesn't do that. It treats the property with respect all the way through. My only gripe is it runs a bit slow. The first one did as well, but I never felt like there was a scene that could have been cut. This time around, there are a couple scenes where it's kind of repetitive dialogue. The scenario just really didn't need to happen in order for the audience to understand what's going on in the person's head. Otherwise, though, this is great. I highly recommend going to see it, especially if you like the last one, especially if you're a Rocky fan. This is a no-brainer. When the last Creed came out, I still, because I loved Rocky so much, I wanted Stallone to box in some capacity. So even seeing him hitting the speed bag in that one was enough to pump me up. And I just kept thinking, man, I'd love to see Rocky in the ring again. Now, though, with Creed 2, I'm all in. Michael B. Jordan easily carries this franchise going forward. And I am filming this the night before Black Friday and Thanksgiving, so have yourself a good holiday, have yourself a good shopping experience.